Okay, so I'll kick off the introductions. I might be the only one introducing myself. It's just gonna depend on if my friends will speak when I put a camera in front of them. I'm Nick. I used to be an aerospace engineer at NASA. Then I lived in my car for a year and a half, started building apps, got a little bit of success here and there. I made stuff that went on Joe Rogan. So got a job at a startup, and now I'm a software engineer, and I still want to keep sharpening the saw, looking for markets, building cool tech, and just kind of going with that. The reasons why I think startups are awesome and technology is super cool. They can really all be boiled down to there's just something that feels right with building. I've done it my whole life, and there's something that feels right with just being able to thumb your nose at some kind of industry or something that's established. I think it's really cool when one person can learn a certain skill set and then just shake the world. So I think that's fundamentally what I'm into. I have a good amount of hardware experience. At this point, a lot of software experience, especially with web apps. I'm just super interested in economics and the finances of startups, bringing value there, the psychology that comes with UX design, UI design, the intermingling of disciplines that a great product must have, at least in engineering disciplines, let alone all of the financial ones. So I'm just super excited. So I think what I really want from San Francisco is I feel like I have a draw towards like people and technology, and I really want to find the intersection. I've kind of explored this part of me when I was in Alabama, of kind of focusing on people and trying to develop how I establish my relationships. And I feel pretty good about where I'm at. And so I'd like to take this opportunity to go to California and really embed myself in the hacker culture out there, the builder culture, the startup culture. There's pros and cons to it. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of ego out there. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of, I don't know if work-life balance is the right word, but I don't think it will exist out there. I think I'm just excited to explore that intersection of what's important. And I really want to capture it on video, and I really want to just show what we're up to, to keep us accountable as well. At the very least me, but hopefully I can get those guys too. Yeah, we've been planning to go to San Francisco for like we've been trying to for like 6 months, but we've been talking about it for like a year. Everyone's schedule's lined up. I was able to get out of the car and get a job with my friend's help. And, now everything seems pretty solid. The job's shaping up, and it's challenging, so I feel like I'm growing. So, I don't know. I'm just very excited to be the most intense, best person I can out there that I can be, and hopefully set some roots, write my own passage in this book of history and shaped by technology, and, maybe it would be a valuable section, so. I think at the end of the day, so long as I can just be creative with businesses, which is really the only thing I ever really feel stimulated with. I think so long as I can be creative with that and still have time to give to my friends and family, be there for them when they need me, at least in the important moments, at least in the quality instead of the quantity. I think that would be a good life. I think the biggest problems I really want to tackle out there, or at least before I die, is I kind of see in the world there's kind of three things that seem unrelated, but I think they're all like basically the same thing. So you have like life, you have information, and you have energy. What these three things have in common is none of them exist. They only affect things that we see. So we see their effects. You may see a light turn on, you may see something get hot, or you may feel something get hot. You'll probably see it too if it's hot enough. You may see something move. These are all energy's effects on things, but that's not energy. In the same way, you may see roadkill which 20 minutes ago, it's the exact same biological matter. It was alive and there's no difference. So life was moving that, and information's really interesting because information is a property of an object, and yet whenever it only exists when someone's observing it and knows that information. So uranium ore 2,000 years ago is pretty useless. Uranium ore today is pretty valuable. So information just changed that about that. So I think in the realm of those three, I'd really like to make like a context-driven point cloud of information around people. Basically, the internet is like the Library of Alexandria, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger with all this knowledge, but you can only read a certain amount at a time. And besides, you don't need to read everything. I mean, do you really care about like the diet of a blue whale? Maybe you do, but probably more likely whenever it's relevant. So I'd really be interested in that. I kind of like to think of like, if each person is a node in a network, we all have these antennas that we can kind of communicate. So I think that's both communicating with some kind of like creative force that could be like, you know, a god, or like, if that's too dirty of a word, the muse, or if that's too dirty of a word, the universe, as if all of these are separate things. But also each other. And when we're affected by disease, or when we're affected by mental disease, that antenna gets clouded. So I'd be really interested in kind of polishing that off with trackers, both mental and physical, to help people have a feedback loop. I don't think people are stupid. I think that they want to find out for themselves, and hearing that X or Y is bad for you kind of goes in one ear and out the other, because they hear that all the time. So I think if there was some kind of metric feedback loop, people would be a lot more receptive to doing these, quote, healthy things when you do something healthy, and then you get an immediate feedback. One such example is this Whoop band. This is an athletic tracker, and if I go to bed one night, and then I go to bed another night but drink a ton of alcohol right before, I don't need someone to tell me that it's bad for me. I can see that my recovery is terrible and I feel bad. So I'm really interested in that. I think that a free market does a lot of great things when executed properly, and when it's not under some kind of government control, some kind of regulatory capture of a specific company. So I think it would be really interesting to kind of democratize funding, because people are always looking to get rich. And if you have money but you don't have time, you're looking for people with time and with no money to give it to build a company. Everyone gets equity, everyone gets rich. So I think that's probably where we're heading to, smaller teams where everyone has equity instead of some kind of flat pay. So you may have lower equity if you take some kind of flat pay. It's just like a startup. The only reason we don't have that across the board is because we need to automate things. And I think that's where we're heading. So I think those three ideas are really, really interesting. When we talk about, okay, if each person is a node in a network and they each have this antenna that we need to clear, that's awesome. And then so like you would have to improve their physical and mental health. And then you talk about, okay, you want to give them some kind of financial leverage so that they have an incentive to be creative. That's kind of where that, the ultra free market problem comes from. With energy, I think, with information, I think it would be really cool to be able to communicate via waves of information. People already do this on drugs. Whether it's in their head or not. But when you think about language, we have to fit so much data into these strict rules of where to put a word and how. And we have to lean on these other things like inflection and body language and all this stuff. But really, at the end of the day, it's we're climbing to the top of a short hill. We need a taller one. The analogy is getting a little tired here, but basically I think that we should really investigate ways to communicate information purely And when you think about how much miscommunication leads to violence, leads to discomfort, even when there's no conflict, if two people perceive there to be, then it's as good as there being conflict. So I think that if we could improve that kind of information transfer, I think that would maybe make the world a little less lonely, and not in this like bullshit way of like bringing people together on like another social media app, like literally improving communication your day to day. So yeah, and I think at the end of all this, with those four, I also have kind of a fifth one that really gets me excited. Apparently it exists in Star Trek. Basically, when you think about anything that we build, we have like a phone, right? It's just a collection of atoms arranged in such a way that they follow these rules that we can predict. But most energy generation is from the sun, except for all fossil fuels are organic matter that's decayed. Hydropower is evaporated rain. Solar power, that's an easy one. Wind power, again, it's from the sun. So increasing pressures wherever the sun is, and then that flows to lower pressures. So I think that the ideal would be if we could just have solar powered kind of like omni machines, and if you could just have the pure elements, basically like a 3D printer, and then you have all of those elements that you can plug in, and then it can arrange anything you want. I think that would be really powerful. I said I had like 3 things I wanted to focus on. I guess we're on 5, and I guess I'll make it number 6, because when we talk about, I think the ideal society right now, where I'm at in life, at the ripe old age of 25, is you have some kind of, your basic needs are met. If we're in the richest country in the world, people shouldn't be starving and dying on the street. So I do think that there needs to be some kind of basal income, but I think that you could do that with some kind of tax where you still have incentive for people to go be productive, and grow an economy so that other people get the fruits of their greed, right? But I think that it would be really powerful for us to connect some kind of blockchain to the electric grid, so that everyone who owns any kind of land or any parcel of land, whatever energy you're generating, any energy that you don't use, you can sell it back to the grid. I think where we're going, the fundamental currency, I think that money and crypto, I think that they're all just kind of buying time. What really is what we're dealing in is energy. So I think that a future where everyone can generate energy however they want. So that could be on land, but I think it would be also interesting to have like a gym where everyone gets paid to come work out because they're generating electricity, like raw power. I don't know. I think there's a lot of ways to go about this. Those 6 things are kind of what's captured my interest. And of course, there's more tangible things right now. I think AI agents, specifically when used with vector databases and on systems that still need good UIs, they still need a problem to solve. Throwing new tech at it won't solve anything. But I think that AI agents with vector databases, with some kind of antiquated systems, I don't think this is a fad at all. I mean, why would it be a fad? Like, I think it's big time, and I think crypto will make a comeback, but thoughts are cheap. So these are kind of the things on my mind before moving tomorrow. So, and I think for my personal goals, when we go out there is, I want to grow spiritually, physically, mentally, and socially every day. So the mental is easy with my full-time job. The social, I really want to put myself out there, meet a lot of people, go to these hacker houses, make connections, really see what people are all about. I think spiritual, it's the funniest thing. It's like the least cool to talk about, but it's probably the most important if you're on a plane that's crashing. So you know, I'm not praying to peer-reviewed papers when the plane's crashing. So I think I really don't know what form that's going to take, but I do think it's important to show some kind of servitude to something higher, and to your fellow people, and to yourself, and to the world around you. Same thing physically. So I think the main things I want to do out there is just embed myself in the hacker culture. I guess I have two goals, right? I want to embed myself in this hacker culture, really put myself out there, and then also try to meet as many people as possible. And then maybe that third one is just exploring a lot, exploring the surrounding towns, cities, you know, and just seeing where that goes. So that's kind of my spiel. I'm Nick. Thanks for listening. All right.